What up, random rockers? Opeth, SORCERESS. Been hinting and waiting for this a little bit, and, well, I'm kind of new with the Opeth thing. I've recently, in the past couple months or so, been catching up on the discography, and enough to understand where this band's at, and I'm surprised to even know. I only knew of them as more of a progressive death metal band, not the fact that they actually incorporated black metal, which is one of my least favorite genres in metal, aside from grindcore. Surprisingly, not too bad for what they were with Orchid and whatever the second album's name was. It's blanking on me. But yes, this album is the third in their progressive rock phase that most people hated. And in all honesty, if Steve and Mike put a little more effort into Heritage, it wouldn't have turned out so bad. And it might have turned out more like this. If you can see it. Hopefully. And yeah, guys, this album is actually pretty solid for what it is. As a more progressive rock oriented sound, it's kind of more in the sense that when they're bringing some metal elements back, but it's done in a way that comes off more like what Porcupine Tree was doing from an Sentia onward, though in the Opeth kind of way, and not like the Porcupine. You know what I mean? It's still more of a progressive rock record as opposed to being a progressive metal record. It's just that they have the credentials to pull off being considered progressive metal as opposed to Porcupine Tree during the 2000s. And that's kind of what this album is. I'm gonna have to keep this short and to the point, guys. I could go in and dive in with the lyrics and stuff, but I will just kind of go off of some of my favorite tracks on here. Though lyrically, to start off with, it wasn't my favorite, and it still isn't for that reason, but I still enjoy the sounds on this particular track as being sort of a classic Opeth sort of feel to it, and that, of course, is the title track of Sorceress, not the second version, which is nice and is much softer, as opposed to the first Sorceress. So, of course, Flowers isn't bad, but it's, of course, and Persephone is a nice instrumental piece that has a nice short little summary up, as well as the slight return thing that closes this off. The bonus tracks, Spring, I'm not sure the year, I'm still figuring that out. It's all in Roman numerals, so, comment below and let me know about that. But that's one of the best. The ward's not bad, but the Spring one is the one that's probably my favorite, and it definitely feels a lot more like classic, like 70s rock sort of vibe to it. And overall, I've got to give props to the fact the band found a way to actually kind of continue with this new phase, not give in to the whole death growl bullshit on Mike's end, because he is a good singer, and it just finally shines through a little bit more compared to what it had been on Heritage and Pale Communion. And it does definitely feel like this would have been the album we would have got instead of Heritage. For damn sure. Of course, there's a lot of people say Strange Brew. I didn't at first, but eventually grew on me. It is definitely an album that's a little bit heady. Like, you can't be super exhausted listening to this record. You have to really be fully awake and immersed into this album. If not, you'll have to listen to it within the first time, or it'll take a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more times just to be able to listen to it. However, that does not mean it's an hindrance. It actually just means there is a lot of things to go through, and there may be some things you might catch that you haven't had a chance to catch before, and it'll make the record experience even more enjoyable. And for that, I have to give it a good old thumbs up for Opeth Sorceress. Now, just because I gave this album a thumbs up doesn't, just because of what I gave this, doesn't mean that it pretty well also means that it's not going to rock your socks off like Blackwater Park, or even Ghost Reveries, or maybe even Still Life, or anything that happened within the time frame pre-Watershed. The Watershed itself is quite good. Anything post-Watershed, this is the only post-Watershed release I would probably recommend to you, for sure. Pale Communion's okay, but, it still kind of leaves off with kind of the crumminess that Heritage gave us, sadly and unfortunately. It's just, the problem, Heritage could have been a better record if Steven and Mike were focused more on that, instead of, Steven having focused more on Grace for Drowning. And, of course, the collaboration they did with Storm Corrosion, which only was a one-off thing. That's why it was a lot easier for them to try to recover with Pale Communion, though this album seems to have allowed them to recover fully, nicely. Again, what you guys think about it, comment below, let me know. And like and follow me on Facebook, also Google Plus to follow. And as always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. And I'll see you guys in the next video.